to the webinar. I am Alex Gem. Let us dive straight in. So firstly, I want to congratulate you on making this step. This web class is for anyone out there who really wants to transform their quality of life. Whether that be to become more conscious, more awakened, more spiritual, to increase your energy levels, to attract greater abundance in your life, to change your mindset. If you struggle with self-esteem and you're too attached to your own ego, your egoic consciousness, this web class will begin that transformation to help you to make the changes that you want to make in your life. If you're someone who is overwhelmed by negativity, by their emotions, if you're someone who's chronically stressed, and most people spend 70% of their lives living in chronic stress, and you want to kind of become more peaceful, more joyous, you want to become happier, you want to detach from the stresses because maybe you overwhelm and amplify your stresses, because that's what happens when we identify with the mind, with our own ego, and we lose presence, and I'll talk about that quite a lot in this web class today. Then that's what induces a great deal of suffering and affliction, and it's completely unnecessary. So in this web class, I'm going to teach you how to become more present, how to become more joyous, how to increase your energy, how to develop a growth, abundant mindset, how to change your subconscious programs, your habits. Yes, people's, 95% of people's perceptions, behaviors, emotions are subconscious programs, and all that means that they spend their lives, their day-to-day existence doing certain thoughts, emotions, and doing certain behaviors, and that creates certain patterns that influences their attitudes. Their attitudes over time influence their beliefs, whether creating empowering positive beliefs or destructive, disempowering beliefs. Depends on the process, right? The feedback loop. And these behaviors affect our personality traits, and our personality traits combine to define our identity. And a lot of people spend their lives identifying with their identity and who they are and their possessions and what they have and what they don't have in their life, and they focus on the negatives because of their primitive brain, their medulla, because they're consciously looking out for threats. And I can teach you how to appease and calm that brain down so that blood will flow to your prefrontal cortex, so you can make better decisions throughout your life, and you can experience better quality brainwave states. And I'll talk about that later as well. And yes, this web class is for life coaches, professionals who spend their lives helping people to overcome their hurdles, their problems, their obstacles, their limiting beliefs, people who want to improve their relationships, or people who want to increase their wealth, their health, their finances, their level of energy, their productivity, their ability to perform better and get into peak state. This is for both professionals, so life coaches like I explained, and it's for anyone who just really wants to create that better quality of life. And I can't think of anything more important than improving one's levels of peace, joy, happiness. So the main reason why you should stay with me until the end of this web class is because I'm going to teach you some meticulous strategies that you can take with you for free today. All the things that I'm going to share with you are given for free as part of this webinar for you to really start to integrate these practices, to make it habitual, and to really start taking control of your life. So what should you do? What should you avoid doing? There are so many things that you might want. I'm just going to give you some general ideas of things that you might want to do on a daily, weekly basis in order to drastically improve your quality of life. Exercise. Exercise is crucial, it's fundamental. Exercise actually promotes neurogenesis. It actually enables you to become more intelligent, but not if you're overtraining, so be careful. Exercise is great, mood enhancing, increases the endorphins, it helps promote sweating and therefore excreting certain toxins and metals within you. And that helps you actually to prevent the onset of age-related illnesses, and it helps to remove plaque from within your mind and body. So exercise is fundamental. It's amazing for fat loss, obviously, but also for energy levels, for your metabolism, especially if you do HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Really, really incredible. So exercise is something that we should look to incorporate where possible. Stay active for both mind and body. I'll talk about that near the end in greater detail. Pay attention to your nutrition. You might want to eat a diet full in antioxidants, flavonoids. So think of colourful fruits and vegetables in particular. Think of eating, if you're not allergic, think of eating like nuts, walnuts, almonds, all these sorts of nuts that are high in vitamin E, vitamin C, high in fiber. They're all different. Like walnuts are high in omega-3s as well, which is great for brain function. Because listen, the best ingredient to give your brain is DHA. Your brain does not naturally produce DHA. You've got to get it from your diet. You can get it through eating things like wild-caught salmon, for instance, or supplementing it through krill oil, omega-3s, and so on and so forth. So, you know, 20% of your brain is made up of DHA, so that's why it's the best ingredient to give yourself. In fact, you know, part of your retina, 15-20% of your retina actually consists of DHA, omega-3s. So you definitely want to give you that to improve your eye health and your brain health. So DHA is fantastic for improving your cognitive function, reducing inflammation, and therefore operating at your best. So supplementation is key. Some other things in terms of supplementation: magnesium, supplement with zinc as well, supplement with vitamin D, great for testosterone, great for immunity, all these sorts of things, great for muscle development and so on and so forth. Supplement in all these sorts of ways in order to improve your quality of life. What else might you want to do? You might want to do new things, partake in new experiences. This promotes neuroplasticity, which enables your brain to restructure and rewire itself over time. So go to trips to new destinations, go on holidays to new places, attend certain workshops, go to and study university, read new books, go challenge yourself. You know, get my course, and I'll talk to you about my course. You're going to go through one of the sections within my course for free today. You're welcome. And it's going to be absolutely life transformational stuff. So excited for you and what you're going to be learning today. So yes, learn new things, develop new knowledge, expose yourself to new experiences so you can help your brain to restructure and rewire it. Some of your own beliefs, your own mechanisms, your own belief of the past. You know, a lot of people live in the past, and what's quite ludicrous is that 50% of the past of what you associate with the past is actually untrue, because your brain is not the same as the past when it happened. And it's like playing that game Chinese Whispers, and you've got people who tell a certain story to another person, they say it and relive it and retell it to someone else, and over time your connections, what you remember from certain experiences in your past, aren't actually accurate. They're totally different. So your past isn't even a true reflection. And a lot of people use their past to justify where they are today and why they can't get better and so on and so forth. So we want to detach from that. We don't want to live in the past. We want to live in the future. We want to visualize the kind of future that we want to move toward. And we want to take massive action to make sure that we can do that as well. So visualization, mental rehearsing, exercise, sleep well. You want to sleep between 8 to 8.5 hours on average every single day. Poor sleep, firstly, it kills and harms your neurons. So you are less capable of becoming intelligent, less capable of creating new connections amongst your neurons and so on and so forth. And this is key here. So sleep is vital because firstly, when you sleep well, it helps to remove plaque from your brain. Again, delaying the onset of age-related illnesses like dementia, Alzheimer's and so on. Not only that, when you sleep well, it enables, and you go into deep sleep swindles like deep REM sleep, for example, that enables you to be more creative, that kind of dream state. Because when you sleep, that's your mind's chance to kind of experiment with things without you being consciously aware. And it's absolutely crucial for creativity, to relive just how delusional you are. It's better to be delusional when you're asleep rather than delusional when you're awake, right? And there is a connection between people who don't sleep well and people like who hallucinate, who get paranoid and all those sorts of things in their life because of what lack of sleep does to us. You know, when you don't sleep well for one night, what happens is it reduces what's called natural killer cells by up to 70%. This is crucial because you need these cells, these natural killer cells, because what they do is they go and they kill any toxic cells within you, any cancerous cells within you. That's right. Sleeping well can prevent certain types of cancers and other illnesses and diseases from developing. So these natural killer cells also improve our immunity. It keeps us thriving, functioning positively. When you don't sleep well, it distorts your genes. You have 711 genes get distorted by poor sleep. The good genes get diminished by poor sleep, and the bad genes that promote things like insomnia, anger, any kind of issues and so on and so forth, and illnesses and struggles in terms of your, as it relates to your health, those are the genes that get promoted, which is not good. So sleep is crucial for also consolidating short-term knowledge to your long-term knowledge as well, helping you to memorize things and so on and so forth, so that you can get better, think more coherently, more clearly, make better choices throughout your life. So eat better, get the right kind of nutrients and supplements, you know, sleep well, meditate. Meditation is great for changing your brain frequencies, from making your brain in a way less active and therefore more creative. The fewer thoughts you think per minute, the better quality thinking you produce. You don't want to be in high beta brainwave state where you're thinking a million things per minute and you can't actually focus and choose the best option. You want to be calm, you want to be collected, you want to make better decisions more often. And that will kind of come through and shine through meditative practices such as yoga, deep breathing, exercise as a form of meditation, and these sorts of things. So those are some things that you might want to do. Generally speaking, what are some things that you would like to steer clear of? Stress. Whatever creates stress for you, whatever kind of associations and connections you have to people or things that induce stress, you want to either eliminate them, significantly reduce your exposure to them, or have better coping mechanisms for stress so that you can get back to homeostasis, so you can become balanced again and make better choices for your day. So reduce stress, don't do anything that exacerbates and proliferates stress. So now's a great time to reflect on things that increase stress in your life, whether it be financial matters, certain people, certain habits that you do, certain addictions that you do that you're not pleased with. Now's the time to kind of reflect upon these, okay? And to make those changes. What other things should you not want to do? Inactivity. You do not want to be bored. Boredom creates addictions. Boredom creates poor decision making. Boredom creates low energy vibrations, and you start to overthink. You actually become more entrenched in your egoic mind, in your egoic thinking when you are bored. So boredom is not good. You're going to want to become more disciplined, you want to become more productive, you want to become more active, you want to keep yourself stimulated and so on and so forth for many different reasons, for your health as well as your ability to make better choices. And you don't want to ruminate and overthink things and therefore make worse choices in your relationships, in your career, and so on and so forth. You want to reduce that noise and have greater clarity in your life. So these are just some of the general things that you might want to adhere to. Again, if you're interested in these sort of things, you might want to join me at this course that I'm going to teach you on this webinar about. All you need to do is go to my website at www.alexgem.com. Just click where it says join PHS course today, enter your credit card details, you'll gain instant access to this revolutionary course that's going to be the difference maker. I urge you strongly to get hold of this course, to enjoy it, to go through it several times, to enjoy the incredible bonuses that I'll talk to you about later on as well. You're going to love hearing about them. I'm sure you're going to be just as excited as I am to start to embark on this journey. So let's dive into the very first section of this course. Amazing. So the very first section, the very first S in the subdue suffering system is actually crucial, because without it, we're not going to be able to change. Now, part of change is being able to identify something that you dislike. And that's going to give you the ability to self-reflect, to become more objective, to detach from your kind of egoic thinking, the mental emotional patterns that you live, because you're going to want to address and spot your subconscious programs if you want to change them. 95% of our beliefs, perceptions, behaviors, emotions are subconscious programs. All that means by subconscious programs, it means that when you do a certain activity in a certain way, whether it be writing a certain way, eating in a certain way, talking to people in a certain way, whatever it might be, when you've done something in a specific way over time, you begin to associate it with who you are, your identity, the way you do things. And it becomes an automatic response, which just means you don't have to think about doing it. You just start doing things. Then have you ever done an activity and then you caught yourself going, why did I do that? Or, I didn't notice about myself. Why was I doing that? And you kind of lost track of time. You became very entrenched in your mindset, and you started doing things without even consciously thinking about them. That's just what a subconscious program is. It's a habit that you've done because of repetition, really. So yes, this first section is all about the subconscious. And we're going to need to learn about this, because we're not going to be able to change, and the video's already started. You're not going to be able to change if you aren't aware of the programs in which you run on a regular basis. So this is one of the videos that I'm not going to play it for today. When you join us at the course, you will have your chance to check out these videos. You've got the audios here as well. to teach you about the conscious and the subconscious, the differences between them, why it's so significant to focus on your subconscious, because it governs everything really. And anytime you do things that are dissimilar to your subconscious programs, your unconscious will look to deter you, to put you off, and your subconscious can be very cunning. Like, for example, if you're not used to going exercising and you're consciously thinking, you know, I want to go exercise, let's do it. What happens is your own unconscious will look to put you off in different ways. It might say, oh, you've got a busy day today, go and do it tomorrow. Or, you know what, maybe you should just sleep a bit longer, you didn't sleep well, or you've been through a lot recently. And your own unconscious will look to keep you safe. Like, your brain is designed to keep you safe, not to keep you happy. And that's why we need to kind of cooperate with our unconscious to appease it, to calm it down. And I'll teach you many strategies in this course about how to do that, so that you can start to change your life, so you don't feel bogged down and suppressed by your own conditioning, really. And that's what this is about. So the worksheet here is tremendous. Certain questions to really change you. So, for example, what thoughts do you attach strong emotions to on a daily basis? This is part of creating the patterns between your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, so you can start to change them. What actions do you do often that you dislike doing? This is an opportunity for you to write down actions, behaviors, activities that you do that you think are maybe unimportant, you're being quite wasteful with your time. It instigates stress or drama or bad behaviors on your part. This is your time to write them down. So these worksheets are incredible, meticulously designed to help you along this journey. So many questions, we're not going to go through in this section. And when you scroll down even more, this is just in case you are someone who enjoys reading as a means of learning. You've got all of this incredible detail about the conscious and the unconscious, so that you can start to understand the processes involved in instilling great change in your life. So yes, it's so important to explore the subconscious, our patterns, so that we can start to identify the problems and then start to create new actions and behaviors around them, so that we can start to replace and supplant them. And that's what's going to enable change. Identifying the problems and being able to work towards changing them by stimulating things like neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, enhancing brain-derived nootropic factor, BDNF, in your brain through various ways. I'll give you a few now. High-intensity interval training, ketogenic lifestyle, intermittent fasting can help promote BDNF. Consuming a lot of glutamate, so think of your traditional omelette, certain foods like that, tomatoes, mushrooms, eggs, milk, soya, these sort of things increase and stimulate glutamate, thereby promoting BDNF. Exposing yourself to hot and cold environments, hot and cold showers or baths. The sauna is incredible for increasing longevity in your life, reducing cholesterol, reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke risk, all these kinds of illnesses and ailments. There is a strong correlation between sauna usage and also exercise. Very similar benefits as well in terms of longevity, increasing heart rate variability, yeah, just making you happier, healthy, and generally so many different benefits that derive from doing so. So yes, start to spot the subconscious patterns you dislike and start to do new things. Start to learn new things, such as listening to me. I'm helping you to stimulate neuroplasticity. I'm helping you to become more intelligent, creating new neurons in your brain, in your hippocampus. You can produce up to 700 new neurons every single day. You can produce more than that and double the connections by learning new material and also consolidating it over time. So yes, take your subconscious programs seriously. Understand that most of the things that you do on a daily basis are subconscious programs, and you need to reflect on the activities you do every day in order to kind of understand the mechanisms, the patterns you have in place, so you can start to make the change that you want to change in your life. So yes, that's the first section complete. We're about to move on to the second S in this section, the Subdue Suffering System. Great, so very briefly, if you would like to purchase this course, all you need to do is go to my website at www.alexgem.com. Just click where it says join PHS course today. Enter your credit card details. You'll gain instant access to this revolutionary course that's going to give you everything you've ever wanted in your life in terms of abundance creation, manifesting things, attracting better things in your life because of your own internal energy field that you put out to the world and what you kind of consume, and it filters how you kind of perceive things and so on and so forth. So yes, you'll get all the bonuses that I'll tell you about a bit later as well. A tremendous price as well, the incredible value that I'm providing. I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, just for the extra reassurance. So let's dive straight into the next section, shall we? And the next section is all about understanding the feedback loops between our thoughts, our emotions, and to understand that in order to change, we need new thoughts, we need better thoughts. So I've already talked to you about your own subconscious programs working against you, and whenever you try to change something in your life, you're kind of really you're fighting against your own unconscious, the way you've taught yourself to live and think and feel, that kind of visceral emotions that you experience on a daily basis. You're going to change the biochemistry within your mind and body. You're going to literally become a newer person, but it all starts with your thoughts. So yes, you are not your thoughts. It's just that the voice in your mind sounds the same. You know, sometimes we have that. If you have a negative thought in your mind, well, you have to understand that that is not you. If you have, that's not your personality. That's part of the collective consciousness that exists out there, the kind of collective problems and programming of society and the culture in which you live in. The current, the familiar collective ideologies that exist, social paradigms that exist, that have conditioned you to think and feel in certain ways. And if you sometimes feel guilty or angry or bitter or jealous or anxious or frustrated or whatever it might be, if you have any negative thoughts, firstly, that's a sign that you are very much connected to your own ego. You're attached to you and you identify with the mind, with who you are, your labels, your possessions, your beliefs about yourself, your abilities, your connections to your relationship with people, objects, love, God, great intelligence, whatever you believe in, and so on and so forth. So yes, this next section is all about, and the reason why we need this is because we need to understand how to change our thoughts and emotions, and without it, everything else will fall apart, because we need new thoughts. I'm going to teach you how to do that now. So yes, every single thought that you have produces a similar emotion. So this is how your brain works. So you have a thought. All that a thought is, what happens when you have a thought is you've got dozens of neurons in your brain that organize themselves into networks, into patterns, if you will. And when they kind of organize themselves into these networks, what it produces a chemical in your brain as well. This chemical is what we know to be a feeling, an emotion, okay? And that feeling and emotion will tend to be, it makes sense, very similar in terms of its tone, its quality, if you will, as the thought that produced it. That makes sense, right? You have a happy thought, it produces a happy chemical, such as joy, happiness, glee, and ecstasy, excitement, or whatever it might be, yeah? And same, and vice versa, negatively, where you have a negative thought, it produces a negative chemical in your brain, it produces a negative feeling, and then that will instigate either behaviors that you dislike, or it will fuel inactivity, which is not what you want to do. For instance, if you have a sad thought or a depressing thought, that will make you more inert, more inactive, yeah? That will be how it influences your behaviors. So yes, I want you to understand how your thoughts, your emotions work. And we all think between 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. That's right. And what's even more shocking, really, is that 90% of your thoughts tend to be the same as the previous day. Why is that? The main purpose behind that is because most people do the same sort of things every single day. You might drink from the same mug every single day. You might drive to the same certain destination in the same places every single day. You might interact with the same kind of people every single day. You might use the same apps on your phone a certain amount of times every single day. You know, you might eat the same kind of foods on the same kind of plate every single day. And what happens is there is a feedback loop between your internal world and your external world. So when you go to certain physical environments, whether it be at your office, your workplace, or whether you go to a theatre, or whether you go to a sporting event, wherever you go in the world, it will turn on certain mechanisms in your brain. Either the same kind of mental, emotional processes as past experience. Say, for example, you're going to go to a theatre and you went to the theatre 2 months ago. The same kind of thinking and emotions and behaviours, your register, your formality or informality, wherever it might be, tends to be the same as before, because your senses are very much aware with where you are, and your appropriate triggers and associations kicking on. This is the way I normally behave in this situation, so that's what I'm going to do. And we can change that over time. You're going to need to be even more internal, even more present, even more conscious of how you normally think and feel in those kind of environments. So you can start to change and reframe your association to these physical environments. But yes, when you go to certain places, and if most people do the same sort of things every single day, same sort of routines, behaviors, then they're not going to create new thoughts. And if you don't create new thoughts, you're not going to get better results in your life. And that's why partaking in new experiences, going to new places, are all methods of helping to restructure, rewire your brain, to change your brain over time, to keep channeling and to keep overcoming and stepping outside of one's comfort zone. Because that's what you do when you embark on a new place, when you go on a holiday to a new destination, or you go on a trip, or you study a new course, or you go to a university, or you go to a new workshop, or you start meeting or talking with new people, or you join a new job, for example. This will start to change the feedback, the patterns between your thoughts, your emotions, and therefore your behaviors. And this is absolutely significant. This is key here. And the problem is a lot of people's thoughts and emotions are based towards making them feel significant. Okay, it's all about making us feel this way, this level of significance. And that's what we want to move away from. Because significance breeds uniqueness and exclusivity. And doesn't matter how special you think you are, the more special you think you are, the more the higher the horse, getting on your high horse, the higher your high horse becomes, the more tragic the fall will be. And everyone gets humbled in life in lots of different ways. Certain people humble us, certain incidents or diseases in life might humble us. Someone betraying you when you didn't think you were going to be betrayed and you were betraying them. Like, life has a way of karma, a lot of people call it karma energy. Everyone gets humbled in life. So my saying is, why not be humble in the first place so that you don't need to be humbled by life? And I write about this, not in this section, but it's really, really key. It's cool. I call it signs. So I'm kind of giving you a little bit more than just this section, actually. But you deserve it. So let's dive in. So in life, because we are so overly identified with the ego, most of us in society, with our wants, our needs, our lack, our limiting beliefs, what we have, what we don't have, all this kind of nonsensical things that don't really matter. What happens is, in life there'll be lots of signs that God or that great intelligence or the source or Allah, whomever you believe in, will kind of give you to kind of enable you to change, to become more awakened, more conscious, more enlightened, and so on and so forth. And the problem is that a lot of people, because they're so tunnel visioned, because they're so narrow-minded, because they're unchanging, they're living by their egoic mind, that kind of compulsive thinking, their ways, they're living in their patterns way too much every single day, they're unable to spot the signs. But, you know, if you're someone who gets dumped a lot and you get heartbroken often, these are signs that you need to change things in your life. If you're someone who regularly gets involved in like physical accidents, car crashes or incidents, or you're very clumsy, and tragically speaking, like, these are signs that there are things you need to change. If you're someone who is chronically fatigued, chronically exhausted all the time because of stress, your emotions, because strong emotions are draining, they're exhausting on mind and body. Like, these are signs that we need to change things. If you're struggling with your finances and you can notice that your financial position is getting worse and worse over time, that's, whatever you want to call it, source, let's call it source, that's the source's way of communicating to you. Listen, you need to change things. Go and study how to invest in property, in stocks and shares, in commodities, in different types of savings over time. Go get a financial role model. Go speak to a financial advisor. Go invest in yourself. Develop high income skills, whether it be marketing, advertising, branding, public speaking, whatever it might be. You know, improve yourself in ways, challenge yourself in ways, become more valuable to the marketplace. That's how you increase your value. That's how you grow your wealth, your active and passive incomes I'm referring to here. Anyway, that's just an example, for instance, of what's necessary and to spot the signs in your life. So if you're someone who's struggling with certain things in your life, it's time to start to reflect, detach yourself from your egoic thinking. So we all have egoic thoughts on a daily basis, And the key here is to step back, and that objective awareness, become the observer of your own thinking. For example, if you're someone who thinks to themselves, you know, I'm useless, I'm never going to improve my life in this or that, that's going to produce a negative chemical, a negative emotion in your life. But if you're able to interject and intervene and go, hold on, why did I just think that? Why did I just think to myself, I'm incapable of changing my life, you know, I'm not good enough or whatever. Why did I just think that? And when you start to think, where did I get that from? How long have I been thinking like that for? Who taught me to think like that? Who taught me that I'm not worthy? Where did it originate from? When you start to trace back memories or people or habits that you've done, or your friends or your familial members or your parents or your siblings or whoever it is, kind of, or even if you did it to yourself, you start to think, why did I do this? Is it linked to certain emotional circumstances and memories? Am I living in the past? Am I stuck in the past and therefore unable to change into the future to really take hold of my life and start to drastically improve things in areas in my life? You're going to need to start to question these things. And that's more of an objective mindset that I need you to think with, because that's how you're going to change. You're going to be, okay, I noticed that. And every time you interrupt a pattern, guys, it loses its potency. It's not so, you're not reinforcing the patterns, it loses its addictive qualities. Yes, your mind, people get addicted to lots of things like illicit drugs, alcohol, you know, highly refined processed eating programs and diets and these sort of things. These are very addictive. But the most addictive problem that people have are actually their own thinking patterns, their own subconscious patterns, their own ways of thinking and feeling and behaving. That's a massive addiction. And I'll talk about addictions a bit later. So yes, partake in new things as a means of changing, becoming better, stimulating neuroplasticity, changing your beliefs over time, changing your attitudes, building momentum in your life, and therefore getting better results, and therefore that positive cycle will ensue and continue. So yes, this is your chance. Again, go get my course that I'm teaching you right now. Incredible bonuses in there, guys. It's life transformational material. You deserve it. I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, just in case you need extra reassurance. Incredible bonuses, amazing ebooks I'm going to talk to you about later as well. Amazing exclusive podcasts, audio segments, and exclusive videos that I don't share on any of my social platforms as well. And yeah, you deserve it. So go join, purchase it, enjoy the whole course, and then start it again from the beginning. Make the most of this course. I want you to revisit the entire course in its entirety from the start to end several times, because that's how you change your habit. You know, there's a forgetting curve. You know, fortunately in your brain, right? When you learn something new, you double the amount of connections in your brain. You double it from 1,300 to 2,600, which is fantastic for learning, for memory, and developing and acquiring certain information and abilities and so on and so forth. This is great. But the problem is there is a forgetting curve, and that just means that within 48 hours, guys, you can forget up to 80% of this newly learnt material. That is staggering. Unless you revisit it, unless you memorize it, unless you revise it and learn it. And you know, I've got quizzes throughout this course for each section as well to consolidate that learning, to make you remember, oh yeah, that's what Alex taught me earlier on. I'm gonna go back to that, then I forgot about that, and that was so good. Oh, then you force yourself to go back. When you challenge yourself to remember things, it transfers it from short-term knowledge to long-term knowledge. Make sure you sleep well before you start the course for the day, and make sure you sleep well that evening as well, because you know, it can inhibit your ability to learn and memorize things by either not sleeping well the night before or not sleeping well that very night. So bear that in mind as well. So let's move on to the next S. Fantastic, let's move on to the next S. So this next section is absolutely crucial, because yes, our thoughts, our emotions are vital, are crucial, but really we need to rise above that, and we need to understand that our behaviors really play a key part in changing. Unless we change and understand how to change our physical behaviors, our physical reactions and routines, then you're not going to be able to create that change. You're not going to make it last. You know, it takes between 66 days to 365 days for a pattern to be deeply instilled in your unconscious. It takes time. We need to be patient, but we also need to start changing our behaviors, and that's what this section is all about. Because without it, you're not going to, you know, you might be excited for a couple of days, Like after this web class, you might be, next couple of days you might be on it, but like, yeah, Alex said do this, he said exercise, he said sleep well, he says do this, he said change your subconscious programs, da, 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 da. But within a couple of days that can all fall apart unless you start to change your behaviours. And you will meet resistance, internal resistance, every time you look to change your behaviours, because you're battling your unconscious, you're battling yourself, you're battling the way you've programmed your mind. Just like when you're creating software, like you need to, there are certain ways to codes and language that you need to adhere to create a certain program. And we operate the same. Everyone has their own programs, you know. In terms of memory, and I'll share this with you briefly. In terms of memory, only a third, and this is the bad news, a third of our memory is based on your genetics. Your genetics, and you see the other 2/3 positively are based on you. So you can change your memories, your associations, you can learn and acquire new information. That's the quickest way to change. The good news is that 2/3 of your memory is within your control. You can change. It's not just based upon epigenetics, like your way of living, your past, and so on and so forth. The way you were born, you know, what kind of things did you learn from your parents and grandparents and these sort of things. A lot of it is in your control. It's just that a lot of people have that a very limited mindset because they do the same kind of behaviors all the time. So let's dive into the third section. Yes, it's called sequencing. Yes, the sequence between your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors. That's me in a very powerful video, which I can't wait for you to check out. The sequential trio. This is my audio teaching you about how to change your thoughts, your emotions, especially your behaviors. This is the fantastic worksheet that's designed to help you to change your behaviors. So the first question is like, what behaviors might you want to change? Like I said from the offset, you need to be able to identify your patterns. What things do you want to change? When you can identify the problem, it's so much easier to address these issues. So many questions, I'll just give you another one. There are dozens here to use. What actions do you tend to do before and after these actions? Yes, that's a very good point. You see, what you have is, people look to change their behaviors, but they kind of take it in isolation. They kind of look at a behavior they want to change. Maybe they want to stop smoking, for instance. And what they do is they start to think, that's an addiction for many people, right? For many different reasons. They want to change that behavior, but the problem is they're looking at it as though it's in isolation, it's not connected to things. And what I do is I teach people that the physical routines you want to change in your life, whatever addictions and problems that you might have in your life, if you're going to change that, you have to change your mental and emotional connections to that behavior. But not just that, you have to also understand where it came from, what kind of deficiency or lack or unworthiness that kind of created that addiction in the first place, right? And not just that, we also need to understand the behaviors that we do before that activity and also after. For example, let's continue with the example of someone smoking. So say if someone at their job, they tend to smoke more socially. Yeah, I know a lot of people who said, you know, I smoke more when I go out socially, I start to have a couple of drinks and this sort of stuff. So that is their pattern. They go out, they have a drink, vodka or Jack Daniels, whatever it might be. They're in a social environment, they're in the smoking section, for example, and then they start to smoke. That's where the habit is. And then it depends what they do afterwards. You know, they associate it to dancing or going out or communicating with their friends. They've got lots of positive associations. These are very detrimental, unhealthy addiction, smoking. So what they have to understand is that, what are they doing before? Or they're drinking alcohol before, so they might want to cut down on that. What else are they doing? Where they're going to a certain place that triggers that response, that they can be a bit more reckless and silly and really let loose. I'm not saying don't let loose and have fun, but if there is something that you want to change, such as this example of smoking, then you need to really analyze the physical patterns that surround that behavior. What are the certain things that you do that kind of trigger and cultivate this certain behavior, and how might you want to change it? So not just smoking, could be something like biting your nails, illicit drugs, inactivity, not exercising, always looking for the easy way out. It could be a behavior where you have where you argue with a lot of people, you do a lot of drama, or you get really stressed out, or you don't know how to control your emotions, or you spend too much time addicted to people, to things. addicted to porn, you know, addicted to anything that makes you angry. You might become addicted to work and you want to kind of switch off so you can kind of detach yourself. And I know a lot of professionals have that problem where, you know, many women struggle with this, where they're so powerful, they're so strong, they're so independent at work. And the problem is they bring that same kind of energy at home, and it kind of sometimes ruins the polarity with their romantic connection, for example, because they're unable to switch off. Do you know what I mean? And they might have a tough day at work, for instance, be really angry and frustrated, and when you get home, who's the first person you see? Hey honey, how you doing? And you make that connection, and you start, and over time you're gonna be like, I hate my partner. God damn, why do I hate them so much? It's because of the connection, the associations you have to them. So what I would say is, after work, if you've had a bad day at work, change your perspective. Go for a walk before you go home. Get into the right mental state and then go home. And then see your spouse or your partner. And then start to change your associations with them. And there's the law of familiarity as well, where you take things and people and objects and your strengths for granted. You don't value it as much anymore. Have you ever known anyone who had a great car, a luxurious sports car or something like that, and then within a year or two, they're like, oh, that stupid thing, oh, I'm bored of it already, I want something else. It's because of the law of familiarity. They're used to it, and therefore they take it for granted. They've lost the connection, the excitement that they had to it. But you cannot. Desire is a very dangerous thing. Pleasure is a very dangerous thing, because pleasure is very short-lived. Pleasure itself is exceedingly short-lived. It comes and goes. Physical pleasure, physical stimulation, stimulated by a car, by buying something new, and when it comes, you're excited by it. I call them adult toys, really. Not like that. Well, it might be. But just like how a kid gets excited by, you know, like a car or whatever it might be, a toy or a Barbie or whatever it might be. And, you know, within a few days, they're like, oh, forget that, it's not my favorite anymore. They want something new. And adults operate like that as well. So we can't be constantly acquiring things, identifying ourselves with these toys, with these pleasures, with the cars, the jewelry, the fancy clothes. Nothing wrong with enjoying them, but don't be emotionally connected to them. Don't let it form your identity of who you are and what you do, because that limits us and confines us as well. So yes, become aware of your behaviors, and that will enable you to slowly start to change over time. So again, this is your chance. Join us at this course. I'll show you the later on exactly the steps to adhere to. Just go to my website, www.alexgem.com, click where it says join PHS course today, enter your credit card details. You'll gain instant access to this course, this revolutionary course. That's, you know, 80% of it, like what I'm showing you, it's about mindset. It's about developing that growth, abundant mindset, overcoming your fears, changing your limiting beliefs, becoming more empowered, instilling better quality habits and behaviors. And then you can start to do certain physical things like the mechanics, which is only 20% of improving the quality of life, becoming more conscious, awakened, happier, more positive, developing your self-esteem. You know, I teach those principles as well, the actual things to do on a daily basis and why it will make the difference. So yes, come join us, revolutionary stuff. Join the PHS team. Really excited to have you here. Let's dive into the next section. Great, so the next section, the reason why this section is so compulsory is because without it, you're going to find it so much harder to become present, so immersed in this very moment that we have right now, for example. Because a lot of people, like I said on the offset of this webinar, is that they live their lives and they're physically in one place, but their mind is elsewhere. And we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be someone who ruminates, someone who just ponders on negative things, whether it be mistakes they made in the past, or whether they felt let down or betrayed by others in the past, and so on and so forth. And we also don't want to be overly absorbed in our future, especially if it's like a dismal, dire projection of our future as well. We're thinking, damn, I'm going to have worse financial situations. I'm going to have fewer people who care for me as part of my life when I get older. You know, I'm going to lose my job. And you start to envision and imagine these things visually. And this is all because we are too immersed in our ego and we're not being present in the now. For example, I'm fully present with you now because I'm thinking about just showing up, and whatever's coming out my mouth is what's happening. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm listening and I'm thinking, oh, what's next in the script? What am I going to say next? Because if I'm doing that, then I'm living in the future, or I'm living in the past in terms of if I did write a script, for example. And a lot of people live their lives that way. And a lot of people kind of ruin the quality of their relationships and ruin building rapport with people because they're not really present, even in conversations. You know, the average person loses focus between 6 to 10 times every single minute, because they're so used to thinking in that kind of high beta or beta brainwave state where they're consciously thinking of lots of other things and they're easily distracted, and someone's in front of them but they're looking elsewhere, and then they zone out and they start thinking about other things, about what they're going to eat later on that day, or someone that really annoyed them earlier on in the day. They're not even being fully present, they're not even listening to it, they're not giving their attention, their energy force, their focus to the person with whom they're speaking with. And of course, over time, that will lead to kind of some serious issues in these relations with people, where you feel less connected, you feel less conscious, you become more selfish and focused on yourself and what you've got to say. So I mean, you don't want to be someone who's listening to a conversation, well, actually paying attention in a conversation, but while someone is speaking to you, you're not actually listening to the words that they're saying. You're too busy thinking about what you want to say next. And that's the sign of someone who is living by their ego, someone who wants to say the right thing, do the right thing all the time. A kind of perfectionist mentality, which is really, really detrimental, because it stops you from taking action. You become really harsh with yourself when you do make mistakes, and you take less action because you're fearful of your reputation and how others will perceive you. So practice being present, practice flowing, and that's what I want to talk to you about as well. So this next section is about our senses and about being present, and it's really key. Let me quickly talk you through the section. So as always, another lovely video for you to listen to enjoy, to learn from. Another powerful audio here about the senses, teaching you about the senses. The worksheet, tremendous value added in these worksheets. They're worth hundreds of dollars. Again, I'm giving you that as well. I think it's playing. Oh, I'm playing the audio. Didn't even know. There we go. So senses. So when are you quite bored generally? Where, with whom, and why? Now this is key here, because I speak about flow, and the flow. Let me see if I learnt this from a gentleman called Milali Messenger Ilahi. I know I apologise to that man because he's got an outrageous name. So I'll do my best with him. And what he teaches is flow, and what flow is, and why flow is so closely connected to being happy. So what they advocate, now I want to make sure you can see this here, what they advocate is that this is flow over here. Here is essentially your emotion and your ability. So essentially, if you do something that's really difficult and you don't have the ability, you're going to be more anxious, you're going to be more fearful, you're going to not be as focused as you could be. You're going to overthink things and you're going to mess up as a consequence. And vice versa, if you do something that's too easy, you're not going to be able to experience flow either, because you're not going to be immersed in the experience, you're not going to be appropriately challenged. It's like, I'll give the example of playing tennis with Roger Federer, for instance, right? Now, and I would like to consider myself an athlete, but you know, he would absolutely destroy me 100 times out of 100 if I played Roger Federer in tennis. But the key thing is this: none of us will be able to experience flow in that activity, in playing tennis against each other. Why? I'm not going to experience flow because I'm going to be so overwhelmed with anxiety, so worried about not hitting the shot well or not beating him, or I'm going to be thinking, oh, he's too good for me, and all these sort of things. So I'm not going to be able to experience flow because my anxiety is going to be through the roof. Yeah? And he's not going to be experiencing flow because he's going to be bored out of his mind. It's too easy for him to beat me. Right? And this is what flow is about. And our senses play a massive role in influencing our level of flow. So, 5 senses: we can see, we can hear, we can touch, taste, feel, all these sorts of things. And you can stimulate these in order to enjoy even laborious things, even like washing the dishes or writing on a document, listen to music, have a podcast, traveling to work, listen to something really powerful, enlightening, inspirational in your ears on your way to work, to enjoy it and make it more of a flow-based activity. If you're washing the dishes, maybe do some dancing whilst you do so. Be playful, be funny, listen to some comedy in the background or something that keeps you light-hearted, being playful. smells go a long way. There's a reason why when you walk into, when you're doing an activity in a place that smells nice, or at least that smells in a way that you connect the smell to something positive or someone positive, you actually enjoy the experience a lot more. So kind of manipulate your senses as a means of enjoying flow-based activities even more so. Okay, so our senses are crucial for experiencing flow, and our senses are also crucial for enabling us to be more conscious. So conscious is all about being present. A lot of people talk to me and say, Alex, I can't be conscious. I spend most of my day fretting, being frightened, afraid, anxious, jealous, angry, impatient, whatever it might be. I'm struggling to change my emotions. What should I do? How can I change this? I'm saying, listen, the easiest way to become present is to first focus on your breathing and focus on your senses. Focus on what you're feeling, like physically. Focus on where you are. Take a deep breath and really put things into perspective. Go from that foveal tunnel vision and be more peripheral and see everything. See what's going on there. See what's going on here in your mind. Take the whole perspective into account so you can put things into the right perspective, to not exaggerate things, and to reduce stress in many ways as well. So play with your senses, play with your perceptions as a means of not just experiencing flow, but becoming more present. Me sitting on this chair, I'm fully focusing on, how my bottom feels on this lovely, luxurious chair. Really calm, really peaceful. I'm really relaxed. I've got everything I need here to really communicate with you meticulously, calmly, happily, and so on and so forth. And I'm truly feel grateful right now, because when you become present, when you are focused on your senses, what you smell, what you feel, what you touch, what you taste, what's going on, you feel so much more connected to everything. And that increases synchronicity. I believe it was Carl Jung who taught synchronicity. And that means enhancing the congruency between things, feeling part of wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feeling present in the moment. So our senses take us massively closer to becoming more present. The more you take things for granted, it's just a stupid paper, Alex, what are you on about? Oh, it's a little microphone, good for you, who cares, what do you do? When you have that mentality, you don't take things for granted, you don't appreciate things, you don't appreciate how you feel, where you are, what you're experiencing, you're going to fall into that stress response. You're going to fuel chronic stress, and therefore more likely to attract diseases, illnesses, negativity, drama, different forms of oxidative stress over time. You're not going to live longer, you're not going to live abundantly, you're going to develop that kind of closed, stubborn mindset where you're not going to achieve the things that you want to achieve, you're not going to be able to be the role model for other people in your life. So yes, our senses are crucial. Again, I urge you, grab this course, make that change, begin that transmutation in your life, become more conscious, more enlightened, more awakened. Join us, go to www.alexgem.com, click where it says join PHS course today. Go for it, invest in it. I've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing for you to worry about. The amount of value that I provide here, especially for the price, is staggering. Saying that as well, you might also want to get my book, The Art of Power, Happiness and Success. You can get that at Amazon, and you can get it at my store at www.alexgemstore.com. Go hook yourself up, you're going to love it. It costs a few cups of coffee. It's ridiculous the amount of wisdom you get from this book, and it's really going to enable you to change and transform your life and become a self-leader, to change your emotional intelligence, to develop that growth abundant mindset that we all need in order to continue progressing in our lives, and to really put things into perspective, and to really love who we are, and to increase our energy levels also simultaneously. So yes, I urge you to do so. Now is the great time, go for it. So let's move on to the last section of this particular subdue suffering system, section 1. Okay, so the next section, and without this section, we're going to really struggle to create that synchronicity, that congruence in our lives. So we want our unconscious, our conscious, our heart, our soul to be connected. Because when you do the right thing at the right time with the right intention, that's what creates momentum. That's when people start to get lucky in life. There's no such thing as luck. Luck is created out of your habits, out of your patterns, out of the attraction that you generate, the energy that you give out to the world, and therefore what you create back. And that growth, abundant, open mindset, that giving out, so where you're always wanting to give your time, your energy, your wealth, and really start to rechange yourself and to become self-actualized, as Abraham Maslow teaches as well, the highest form of living, of consciousness, if you will, where you've got so much in your life. And I'm not talking about monetarily, I'm not talking about your luxuries and these sort of things. I'm talking about you feel so full because you're not associated to your ego anymore. You've risen above that you can just give freely. And you don't care because you're not attached to anything. And that creates, ironically, a lot of people search for control in their lives by always getting more, buying more, not giving, not that, no, don't give your time, don't give your energy, don't smile at people, no, do your own thing, care about yourself, no one will care about you if you don't put yourself first and all this sort of stuff. And they create this negative energy, and therefore they actually, ironically, never have control in their life, because control comes from freedom, from liberation. Control comes from that great level of consciousness. And by consciousness, I'm meaning being present, being peaceful, being loving, being love, being God, or whatever you believe in. Being that very thing that you identify with, so that you can kind of be that role model, that light, that source of inspiration for others in their lives. And you will be glowing, and people will feel the difference in your aura, in your presence when you walk around. Has something changed with you? Is it your hair? Have you changed it? Got you a new outfit? Have you lost weight? You'd be like, no, none of those. What is it? Something's different. Maybe it's the way you're standing. Maybe it's your physiology. Maybe it's your level of energy. Maybe it's now you're starting to smile, and the crinkles in your eyes turn into a real smile rather than this fake smile that you give when you just see a stranger and you don't really care about connecting. There's a difference, and there will be a difference within you, what you feel, what you create in your life. With this next section. So the next section is called STEM. And by STEM, we're referring to the fundamentals, the things that keep us strong, the fundamentals that enable us to progress. And let's begin by looking through. You've got another powerful video teaching you about this topic as well, which you'll love. Mind and body audio that I've created for you, the worksheet. Let's look at one or two questions. So mind and body is part of this section, okay, part of STEM, and it's that congruency between mind and body. And I believe that the physical, there are so many correlations, and there's such a strong feedback loop between your physical abilities and your mental abilities. For example, like as we age, and we all have different bodies as we grow old. We had a body as a baby, as a toddler, as an adolescent, as a young adult, as someone who's in their midlife, middle age, and someone who's elderly. We have different bodies over time. And what we have to understand is that people, when they get really old, for example, especially if they're not very enlightened, awakened, or present, they start to become very rigid in their minds. By the age of 35, just 35 years old, we become a set of memorized patterns, beliefs, behaviors. We think we're there, we've done it. It's harder for people to change after that age. We can still do it by stimulating neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, BDNF within your brain, and so on and so forth. Living in new things, challenging, stepping out of your comfort zone, learning more about your abilities, your accomplishments, developing your self-esteem, not caring about the result, but focusing on the process. That's what this is about, guys. The key to happiness is enjoying what you do every single day. If you don't enjoy what you do, but you're obsessed with the result, whether it be to get a paycheck every month, or whether it be, you go to the gym to look a certain way, but you don't enjoy exercise, you don't enjoy the challenges. If you're someone who wants results, but you don't like what you're doing in order to get the result, then that's going to be a very deficient life. That's going to lead to a lot of suffering, a lot of affliction, and unnecessarily. And it's something that if that applies to you, it's something we're going to need to work on together. And I can help you along that journey. So, I want you to consider how often you partake in relaxing, mindful-based strategies such as meditation, yoga, stretching, even things like dancing. Because I'm a massive advocate of martial arts, on sports, on movement. I'm a big fan of movement and coordination, of things flowing. And I think people, when they stop exercising, when they stop physically stretching, when they stop things like yoga, meditation, when they stop exercising, whether rigorously or even just going for a jog, when they stop it, what happens is you become more rigid mentally. You become more fixed mentally. You know, this is the way I am, this is the way I'm too old to change now. I'm not going to bother changing. And that kind of fixed, rigid physical shape and physical activities that you do on a daily basis will transcend into your mentality. So we want to increase congruency between our mind, our body, our way of thinking, and our way of moving. So become more active. Challenge yourself. Don't always take the easy option, always get in the lift, the elevator, you know, get the stairs sometimes. Don't always park the closest, you know, unless you've got a disability, don't always park as close as you can to a certain place. Don't always look for the easiest way, because yes, the simple things in life are fantastic, they are useful. I totally agree with that in certain contexts, yes. But don't always go with the easy way. Because a lot of people, the problem is when you go with the easy way, you don't consider all options in your life. You know, if you're, this is why, and I was a teacher for many, many years, and I always used to say to students, when you're doing an essay or when you're learning something, I'm saying, don't always go with your first idea. And a lot of students, because they just want to get the work done, and adults are like this as well in their own life, especially in things that they don't want to do. They go with whatever comes in their mind first. Oh, that's the answer. They're done. No. Brainstorm, think, reflect, collaborate, talk to others, get more ideas. Change your physical place. Stop working in the same environment. Change where you're sitting. Change the arrangements in your physical context. Bring new things in, get rid of new things. You know, a lot of really successful business people, like business owners, what they do is they make a point to always integrate new voices in their meetings and so on. So you're not always hearing from the same people, the same voices, the same ideas. You want to bring in new questions. You want to bring in new perceptions, because that's what's going to shake things up. That's going to enable change. Whenever I do a brainstorm, I always start with the silliest, most stupid, creative ideas that I don't even take seriously. But it's about the reason why I like to do that is because you shut down everyone's ego. It's like going into a really tense place, and when, you know, everyone's sitting like that, you know, you're waiting for someone, and someone makes a joke to kind of release the tension in you. I do the same thing when I do my brainstorms in my businesses. Always come up with silly, creative ideas. Don't care about what others perceive of you, because the priority is to come up with certain new solutions to solve problems, right? So be creative. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't start thinking, what will others think of my ideas, and those sort of things, and lots of ideas. Be flexible, be open in your mindset. Don't just shut down ideas so easily. Listen to people's ideas, notions, and see if it fits, and is it worth giving it a go, and take action. Don't be hesitant, be decisive. That's what it means to be a leader. Choose something and go with it. If it doesn't work, at least you've learned quickly. Yes, you may have failed, they call it, but at least you would have learned something, and therefore you can do something else. And that's some of the ideas that I have going forward. And I'm going to touch upon some key activities, because that's what I promised I'll share with you near the end of this this webinar today. And the key here is, and let's start with breathing. Breathing is essential. When you breathe in deeply, I'll show you a couple of examples of how to breathe. When you breathe in deeply, you can change your brainwave state. So there are many advantages that come from breathing in deeply. And there are lots of different breathing strategies. So let's start with how to promote the gamma brainwave state. So you've got different brainwave states. Let me briefly teach you them, because this is going to be key here. This is how to become more peaceful, more tranquil, to make better decisions for your life, how to become more creative. That's exactly what I'm about to show you. So we've all got different brainwave states. Okay, you've got delta. Delta is when you're sleeping. You've got theta. Theta is low frequency, just a few thoughts per minute, 15 or less essentially. It's kind of when you're drifting in and out of sleep, when people are having showers and stuff like that, and when they're in deep meditation is when they kind of experience theta brainwave state. Very powerful, very creative indeed, but not as potent as alpha. Alpha is where you want to be on a regular basis. I would call it the second best brainwave state. You can enter alpha when you're in mild meditation. It involves kind of trance-like mentality. You can, when you go for a walk amongst nature, and the trees and the grass and the water and the animals and these sort of things, it changes your brain frequency. You actually fall into alpha, which means you have fewer brainwave, fewer thoughts per minute, 30 thoughts or less, essentially. And alpha is key because it's a state of relaxed awareness. So relaxed awareness. You are most creative when you are experiencing alpha as well. So now earlier I taught you about experiencing flow. Flow enables you to live in the alpha brainwave state, because when you're in flow, you're not thinking, there's no thought. That means you're fully present. The more you think, the more stress you get, the more in your head you get. For instance, if you're playing a sport and you're overthinking, oh, I'm going to hit the ball that way, and then in my next shot I'll hit it that way, you've already lost. You're thinking too much. That's why when people take like soccer, football, and someone takes a penalty, you can always tell when you're looking at them, is this person in their own mind? If they're thinking a lot in their mind, you can tell, you're like, oh God, this guy's going to miss. But someone who's quite relaxed, that relaxed awareness, they make the best choices in the moment. They're not thinking about, I'm going to put it there, I'm going to feel the moment and therefore execute. And that's how people perform at their best. And I'm going to teach you on this course how to be a peak performer, how to get the best out of yourself. So yes, you've got delta, theta, alpha. Then you've got beta. Beta is when you're highly alert. You're having 60 thoughts or more per minute. You know, most people when they're awake, when they're at work and when they're working on projects and stuff like that, this is how they operate. Now, it can be quite detrimental because this is where a lot of judgment exists, and this is where the ego flourishes. This is where the ego kind of takes control, and that's not good. And what's even worse is you've got high beta. High beta is about like extreme emotions, really anxious, really fearful, really being negative, and that's what we want to avoid. Now, interestingly, you've got the very best brainwave state, which is called gamma. Gamma brainwave state. It's like playing a flute. It's very high frequency. You're very alert. You're very focused. It's not that kind of egoic kind of consciousness, that kind of negative, compulsive thinking. You're very alert, but you're very much aware. And this state actually promotes neuroplasticity and neurogenesis as well. Now, the interesting thing is, in order to experience gamma, you have to drop it into these more subconscious areas. Okay? You have to drop low, which means you have to relax, and deep breathing can help with that. And that's how you can kind of promote and create that powerful brainwave state. And gamma is all about enabling your the different parts within your brain. The sides start to communicate with one another, the frontal lobe starts to connect with the back lobe, the occipital lobe, and all these sorts of things. In the cerebrum, the two hemispheres in your brain start to communicate with one another, and things start to flow. And that's where you can make your best thinking. You're very creative, you're highly alert, you're in the zone. You're operating from love, congruence, and that's when you start, that's where you want to operate from. And you know, visualization and deep breathing can help you get there. And there's literally a breathing technique that you can adhere to. So I'll very briefly show you what that is now. So essentially, button got undone. Well, you know, see, gamma is what gamma does. It does some beautiful magical things for you. So as you want to breathe in slow, you want to breathe in through your stomach. So you're trying to put your belly button to touch your lower back here. So you're breathing in, gradually sucking in, and you're channeling the energies from within your body, the physical primitive energies, that visceral energy in your body, and you're channeling your breathing up. And you're going to fill your lungs with air. Your diaphragm is going to contract and go down. Your lungs are going to expand. Fill your body with as much energy. You're still sucking in deeply within your abdomen. And you're going to send that energy up to your brain nice and calmly. You're going to send the energy from if you're focused on your fingertips and your fingers, you're going to send it up through your arms. You're going to imagine that a light going up into your brain, to the top of your brain. And when you live there, all your blood is flowing to the top of your brain. That's what makes you highly alert. That's what makes you feel, and I feel it right now, you feel so vibrant, so energetic, so light. You know, and this is where you want to operate from, and this is where you want to live your life as often as possible. So gamma and alpha, and it's all done through breathing, deep breathing. So that was a breathing strategy that I just shared with you. You can also just practice deep breathing, as in, you know, inhale slowly for about 6 seconds. Hold it for 8 seconds. And then breathe very slowly, as though you're breathing out through a straw. For 10 seconds. Keep doing that breaths at least 10 times. Any time throughout the day where you feel like the stress response is triggered, you feel anxious, you feel overwhelmed, you're feeling caught up, you're immersed in your egoic compulsive thing, your conditioned consciousness, just calm yourself down with those kind of 10 breaths, and it will change your state, it will change your physiology, change your body language, develop more powerful body postures, you know, that kind of Superman, Superwoman pose, or like so, or hands behind your back. Holding those power poses for just 2 minutes increases testosterone, reduces cholesterol, improves your things of being a risk taker, of making better decisions, of really becoming more assertive just by changing your physiology. But not just that, those are some brilliant things you can implement in STEM, which is what I'm teaching you now, but it goes beyond that. And so a lot of these mental, mind-based strategies, such as what I've been sharing with you throughout here, subconscious, your feedback loops between your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, all these sorts of things that I've been teaching you will help you to change your quality of life. So I urge again, I underscore the importance of this course to make the difference for you. Let me talk you through the course very briefly. So here we go. This is the page that you'll see. As soon as you go to www.alexgem.com, just click where it says join PHS course today. As soon as you click that button, this is the page you're going to see. So, you know, literally, I know this is, it seems like hyperbole, but the amount of changes that I've helped people with, it really enables them to change their quality of life. I'm helping people who are chronically anxious, chronically stressed, people who are depressed in life. I'm helping them to transform their quality of life. You know, they notice improvements in all areas in their life, not just with their emotions. People are tending to be important, how their relationships are getting better, how more present, more conscious and giving they are in their relationships. They understand how to build rapport more with people. Yes, I'm going to teach you strategies on how to build rapport with people more. NLP-based strategies in terms of their non-verbals, how to communicate, what words to use with certain people, what are some trigger points for people, so you can develop better relationships with your siblings, with your parents, with your cousins, with your relatives, with your peers, with your colleagues, with your clients, your employees, whomever it may be. It's absolutely crucial. That's what makes someone charismatic. That's what makes someone a leader. You deserve to have those skills. So definitely check out this video because I outline my journey as well, and I teach you what the course is comprised of, and you're going to love the background here. I did this video on a castle. It's an absolutely stunning video. You're going to love it. This is the strategy that you saw me teaching you already. So all I taught you was one part of 4 sections that can comprise the subdue suffering system. So I taught you just a small part. As you can see, there are 4 massive sections within this course, all subdivided like you saw. Each section has several segments like I've shown you, and each segment has its own video, its own worksheet, its own audio, its own written word, like I showed you for 5 of the examples in today's webinar. That is the way, consistently across the board, step by step, taking you on this journey to abundance, manifestation, attracting better things in your life, becoming more conscious, more awakened, more enlightened, becoming self-actualized, increasing your self-esteem, your levels of joy, happiness, peacefulness. I mean, is there anything more important than these areas? I don't think there are. And that's why you deserve to get this course. Yes, so go check out all the information here. This is where I just outline who it's for, who it's not for. Like, I need you to be coachable, guys. I need you to be someone who works hard, who wants to make changes in their life. I can't work with someone who's just a dabbler, who doesn't take these sort of things seriously, who's just like, yeah, I'll buy the course, and they just leave it. No, I've spent thousands, tens of thousands of hours reading dozens of books, going on seminars, on workshops, learning from absolute genius, being mentored by geniuses, where I've paid tens of thousands to be mentored by these people, and I've condensed it into this course for you at a shockingly low price. I mean, I don't understand what else you'd want, I must say. So I need you to be committed if you're going to be someone who tries this. I don't want you to just get this if you just want to try something new. I know I taught you that, you know, when you do something new, it does trigger and stimulate neuroplasticity, which is great for changing your habits, your behaviors over time. I get that, but me personally, I want you to take so much more than just that, because you can stimulate neuroplasticity by just learning a musical instrument or reading a book on something that's innocuous or not really important. Do you know what I mean? I want you to really, really be invested in this, to truly care because it's taken me, like I said, 15 years collating trial and error, my own experiences, my own journey in lots of different departments in my life, and all the hard work that I've done, and I put it into this course. So I have great, I wouldn't say attachment, but I know the power of this course, and you deserve to be part of that. So yes, this is what it consists of: hours of life-changing video content. I showed you what some of the videos might be in the course. That's worth $450. We've got hours of exclusive bonus videos as well. This is not just what the kind of videos that I was showing you on the screen. This is exclusive video content. We've got me with this whiteboard teaching you about dozens of really essential, powerful, enlightening strategies that you should start integrating into your life as well. Transformational worksheets. I've touched upon about 2 or 3 of them in this webinar, and you've got dozens to work with. This is what's going to enable you to change, because it's all well and good you listening to me, but I've created and specifically crafted these questions, these worksheets, so that you can answer them meticulously in detail, so you can feel emotionally connected to the activities, so that you can start to change. Because if you're just objectively listening to what I'm saying and you're like, yeah, Alex, I know what you're saying, that makes sense, well, thank you for sharing, that's fantastic, but you're not actually linking it to your own experiences, your own memories, your own experiences, then it's not going to have that kind of emotional pull, that emotional connection. It's not going to affect you as deeply as it should do. So the worksheets are phenomenal. You're going to love it as well. Hours of exclusive podcasts as well. So me talking in depth about my own experiences, my own fears, how I've overcome my challenges in lots of different areas in my life. You know, I used to be obese, and I'm able to live consistently happy. I really enjoy my eating program, how I'm exercising, I'm sleeping well, I'm meditative, I've developed all these mindful-based strategies. I have my cold and hot exposures to the showers and baths, the needs of muscle recovery, but also what it does for your blood circulation, your discipline, your mindset, these sort of very powerful things. You might want to get my book, guys, the 6-Pack Mind. You can get it at Amazon. You can also get it at my store at www.alexgemstore.com. You'll love that as well. So again, part of the bonuses here, 100 audio segments, specifically breaking down how to become happier, how to increase your energy, how to balance your neurotransmitters in your brain, which can be knocked out of homeostasis because of stress or incidents or illnesses that you might experience. And it really can be disastrous, because when you start to have like excessive or inadequate, insufficient levels of some powerful neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, these sort of things, it knocks you out of balance. It makes you more restless. It makes you more impatient. It can lead to sleep disorders, insomnia. It can lead to immune and digestive problems and all these sorts of things. So you're going to really want to look after yourself, and I outlined many of these strategies in these audio segments. I've also got amazing ebooks, each worth $50, consisting on how to become more conscious, how to become happier, how to increase your self-esteem, how to meditate, what practices to incorporate in your life in order to really meditate, to visualize what these NLP strategies can do for you. Check out the ebooks, all given for free as part of when you sign up to this course. Again, scroll down on this page as well. You'll see the testimonials that people give about the kind of difference it's making in their lives. So that's always quite powerful to learn about. Scroll down as well. So here is where you can kind of, throughout this landing page, you can purchase the course at any point. Here is the system that I've outlined for you today. This is the section that I've taught you today. And you can actually see, as you scroll down, all the different sections. Oops, let me click so you can see it. There you go, section 3 of the Subdue Suffering system. You can see just how powerful and potent this is, just how meticulous it is, taking you step by step, learning. And you can actually get, so for example here, the shift solution, the very last out of the 4 strategies. I've clicked on it for you. There's the video started. Let's pause that. And this one, because it was set to preview, which means I've given you this for free as well. So though these preview sections are for free, just like I've shown you earlier, so click on them as well, so you can check that out for free. I'm not going to be able to go back. There we go. And it continues, and there are some of the bonuses that I promised here, all there ready for you when you join. And now's the time. I urge you, scroll up. now is the time to really go for it. Now is the time. Otherwise, guys, you're going to get the same kind of results in your life that you've got thus far. And I know that you're here for a deeper purpose. You are ready for something more. You are ready to really change your quality of life. You're ready to become more conscious, more enlightened. You're ready to increase your standards, to change your blueprint, to change the way you live your life, so that you can enjoy the simpler things in life, so that you can really maximize your potential, so you can really be there for others when they need you, so you can give more, share more, and be the person you've always wanted to be. So all you need to do is click here. It's $180. I mean, I offer a payment plan just in case someone's really struggling, but really that's a very, very affordable price. $180. It used to be $1,200. Now is a chance to step up, take control of your life, and really make the change that you want. Have a great day. Stay strong. I'll see you soon.